stump my nephew 2 weeks in a row. Someone has stumped my nephew. I think it's the first in all those weeks. So it's a crucial week for my nephew. As you know, Sam, there's a ton about gun trivia and trivia issues, all the above, and every week somebody writes in a question. If we use your question on the air, you get a higher search. If you stump my nephew, you get a gold prize. And like I said, 2 people have stumped him in a row, which is extremely rare. I mean, it's really rare to stump him at all, let alone twice in a row. So we have a big week here. It's either going to continue a streak or break a streak. Either way, we're going to have fun with it. Sam, how's it going, man?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Fantastic. All right, Alicia's got your question. How do you feel? How do you feel going into this week?
This is a gun trivia segment. It's not like there are people's lives. It's a beautiful day. I went for a walk this morning. However it goes is however it goes. I feel fine.
I like looking at the bright side.
This week, do some push-ups and, deep meditation, stuff like that.
I've been on the 7 weeks to 100 push-ups program. I'm on week 5.
Oh, that's right. I actually forgot about that. I was joking, but I forgot you were doing that.
The one I'm on goes up to 198, so it's pretty tough.
Nice. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. Okay, Alicia, go for it.
All right, I am ready. All right, Sam, your question comes from Annie, and Annie is from Orange County. Her question is, in 1855, partners Horace Smith and Daniel B. Wesson formed a company. What was it called, and what 2 current firearm manufacturers came as a direct result of the company breaking up?
Annie from Orange County, thank you very much for writing in. The Smith and Wesson, the people, the guys named Smith, Horace Smith and Daniel Wesson, the first company they founded was not the Smith and Wesson we know today, if I remember correct. This is all, I'm predicating all of this with if I remember correctly, because I'm not looking at a book, obviously. The modern Smith and Wesson isn't the direct descendant of the company they founded, or rather the company they founded didn't directly evolve into that Smith and Wesson. I believe Winchester was an outgrowth of it. That's one. And then the second one, for some reason, I want to say Remington is tied up in all this because it was sold from the Remington family divested themselves from it, but that feels wrong. I'm going to say Winchester is one of them. And gosh, I don't know. Could it be Marlin or this? It's a tough question because it's a pretty obscure piece of trivia. And also, as I've said numerous times before, the sort of black powder era around the middle of the 19th century is really not my strong point.
Well, first off, is you say that every single time, and it's funny is you always nail him though.
And you nail it. First off, though, there's part of the question you're missing. They want to. So Horace Smith and Daniel Wesson started a company originally. They want to know what the name of that company is. Mm-hmm. And after that,
I can't remember the name of the company off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that was the company that made the Volcanic Firearms, but I don't know if it was called the Volcanic Firearms Company or something like that. So I'm just going to take an L on part 1 of the 3-part question. I'm going to guess volcanic something or other, but that's just a shot in the dark, if you'll pardon the pun. The other 2 parts, I'm going to say.
So first, before you go further, that's correct. It's volcanic. You got it right.
Okay, so I one out of 1/3 correct is not bad. I'm now working on the other 2 parts.
I just want to clarify. I just want to make sure. So after Volcanic went on to those 2 guys went on to start companies, and there were at least 2 companies that were born of Volcanic's disappearance. And he's asking name at least 2 of those companies. I think there are only 2, but name at least 2.
Yeah. So a little bit of background on Volcanic. They used that as a marketing name for the company and for the guns they made because it sounds powerful, right? So like these days, companies calling everything tactical and military grade, that's not new. Companies have always been doing that. They, back in the 1850s or whatever it was, they were saying volcanic. It's like it's like a force of nature, for their piddly little, arguably caseless ammunition, because it was a bullet that had the gunpowder in the back of the bullet, which I think is really neat. And I would imagine that there's some untapped potential in that concept. But volcanic, you know what? Okay, I'm going to say Winchester was an outgrowth, and I'm just going to say the modern Smith & Wesson was another outgrowth, even though I'm pretty sure that's wrong. But then again, me thinking I'm wrong might be mixing it up with Colt. So I'm just going to say Winchester and Smith & Wesson. Final answer.
So technically that's true, but they were looking for the third one that they were looking for was Henry. Henry actually came from that company. Alicia, why don't you read that paragraph down at the bottom there?
All right, so here's what was provided. Winchester forced the insolvency of the Volcanic Arms Company in late 1856, taking over ownership, and moved the plant to New Haven, Connecticut, where it was reorganized as the New Haven Arms Company in April of 1857. B. Tyler Henry was hired as a plant superintendent when Robbins and Lawrence suffered financial difficulties and Henry left their employ. While continuing to make the volcanic rifle and pistol, Henry began to experiment with a new rimfire ammo, and he modified the volcanic lever action design to utilize it. The result was the Henry rifle.
Okay.
So there you go.
Winchester is one of them. So I was like 2/3 right. You'll have to give Annie 1/3 of a special prize. That sound okay?
I think it's a win. You got it. I mean, it is Smith & Wesson, and it is Winchester.
But it's not the same Smith & Wesson, though.
Well, tell people why you say that. I know what you're saying, but tell people why you're saying it is and it isn't. But tell people why you say that.
It's and I'm drawing something on a whiteboard here. Don't mind me looking away from the camera. There's a point to this. A quote I'm fond of from a novel I read when I was a teenager is, just because you call something something doesn't make it, right? You can call a company whatever. You can call a company like Samuel Colt did this. He founded a company named after himself. It went bankrupt, and then he founded another company a few years later. The original Colt was not the same as the Colt after that. Or Henry is actually a good example, because the modern day Henry company is a company that bought the name Henry. They make lever action rifles, and very nice ones, according to similar designs to the old ones, but there's not a direct lineage. So just because Horace Smith and Daniel Wesson founded a company and may have called it Smith & Wesson, that doesn't necessarily mean there was a direct lineage. I'm pretty fuzzy on the details here, as I said, but if I my guess, Smith & Wesson, it was like I knew that was wrong, but I had to answer something. The standardized testing here in the Commonwealth of Virginia trained me well for that. They founded a company, as I understand it. They founded the company. It was, as you said, Winchester forced its insolvency and bought the assets and moved them. And then a few years later, they went, well, we still want to make guns. So they founded the Smith & Wesson that became the modern Smith & Wesson.
Exactly. All right. Well, there you go.
So let me show you this diagram I'm drawing, if you have a moment. So I said that volcanic is a cool concept. You have the gunpowder embedded in the base of the bullet. What I mean is like this, if you can see the diagram. The white part is the bullet. See, the white part is the bullet. The crosshatched part is the gunpowder. And then that black thing in the base is a percussion cap serving as the primer. So when the bullet leaves the muzzle, there's no casing left behind. The gunpowder burns, propels the bullet out, and the only thing that's left behind is that primer, which I think just falls out of the action. So it's really, arguably, that's caseless ammunition. A century and a half before the HKG-11, which I think is pretty cool.
I think it's phenomenal. It's
apparently the rounds were fairly underpowered, so calling it volcanic was a bit of an overstatement, to say the least.
Exactly. All right, I'm giving you the W. Good job, Annie. We're going to send you a hat or a shirt, but you broke your lose streak. Congratulations. You're back in the fight.
I guess a 2/3 win still counts as a win.
It's above 50%.
I think it's a 3/3 win. I think you're being too technical on yourself. But anyway, you're still in the race for the pennant. Congratulations. Awesome job. Check him out on our blog page. Stump My Nephew. Great job. If you have a question for him, email us and we'll try to stump my nephew. But good job, Sam. Awesome job.
Hey, thanks for having me on, as always.
You bet. All right, man. Take care.
If you carry a firearm or take self-defense seriously, you need to think beyond the moment you defend yourself, because the legal fight can start immediately after. That's where Self-Defense Fund comes in. They provide legal defense protection for responsible Americans. Right now, our viewers can save 25% off a membership. All you have to do is go to selfdefensefund.com/GOR and you'll save 25% off their membership. So protect yourself before you ever even need it. Join today. Again, selfdefensefund.com/GOR gets you 25% off their already affordable membership rate.
Hey, thanks for watching Gun Owners Radio. I hope you loved that clip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media. And check out our website at gunownersradio.com.